What's going on, everybody? It's dotbets. We're checking back in. We got our week 13. Yes, you heard it right. Week 13 best bet show coming at you guys here. The season is absolutely flying. As always, this is powered by Occupy Fantasy. Make sure you guys go to occupyfantasy.com. Use that referral link in the description below. They have all the goods necessary for your DFS needs in the DFS community. They have the best lineup optimizer that I use to build every single one of my lineups. And their model is one of a kind for high risk GPPs. They have low risk options, NHL, NBA, NFL, any sport possible. Make sure you guys check out occupyfantasy.com. All right. So if you guys tuned in last week, we had a huge show. We went the good old 7-1 for almost 9 units. So we're looking to build off that once again. Total, we are at 48 and 36 for plus 14.06 units. So very, very nice season that we have compiling. We have a few more shows to go. And as always, the optimism is high. Every single Sunday morning I say it, it's true. I don't know what, it just builds up. And then all of a sudden it's Sunday morning and you just think every bet is going to smash. But then 12:30 hits and you're like, oh crap, maybe I only have a couple that are going. But let's see if we can rekindle the magic, rekindle the flame here for week 13. If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave a comment. If you guys are watching on YouTube or Twitch, YouTube, hit those thumbs up. And if you guys are on X, simply hit that repost button. That would go a long way for the show. All right. And as we always go, we'll go through the top stacks for DFS first, and then we'll go towards a spread and a total that I got, a VIP teaser that have been hitting, which is good because we've had some bad luck on those early on in the season, but we have come a long way there. And then we will have some player props and some anytime touchdowns, which we smacked the anytime touchdown parlay last week. Henry, Evans, and I believe it was I can't remember the other guy. Let me know if you, in the comments if you remember. But smashed it. It was great. Henry we should have just went 2 touchdowns for Evans and Henry. That'd have been nice. Alrighty. All right. So this the slate today. A little bit different. You do have the lock button player with Zach Moss today. He is too cheap, obviously, $4,600 on DK to be used. As the bell cow back. Usually it'd be 7,000-8,000, and without JT there, we've already seen what Zach Moss can do. I mean, I think unless you're like a really, really high risk player and you want to just fade him, I think he's going to be in that 60% range in most lineups. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock button him in and get different somewhere else. And where we can get different here is with the stacks. So always include Zach Moss. Just hit those lock buttons. If you're on Occupy's lineup optimizer, it's simply just hit that lock button. Very easy to do. And then we can stack around him. So my favorite stacks of the week, you got to go back to that epic game last week with the Bills and the Eagles. We were all over that game, which was nice. We're going to go back to that game environment. You got the 49ers coming to town to the Eagles, over under 47.5, rematch of the NFC Championship game. And the game environment here is going to be electric. I don't think the weather is going to be too much of a concern. I think the wettest game of the week is going to be the Patriots game. But let me know if you guys have seen anything different. I checked before we got on stream, and it looks like it's going to all be kind of clear or not be too crazy in this Philly game. So I'm stacking the 49ers 3x1. So trusting Brock Purdy here, going with Ayuk, CMC, Kittle, and Debo. So a mixture of all those. And then I can bring it back with one of the two, either A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, because those are the two people that Jalen Hurts absolutely goes with. And you could bring him back with Swift. He just hasn't got that much in the pass game to warrant that for me. So I'm going here with the 49ers 3x1. If you had my top 3 would be Ayuk and CMC. And then if you want to be a little bit different, maybe throw in Debo instead of Ayuk. I really, really like this 49ers team today. Eagles got the Cowboys next week, and the Eagles have had a grind of a season gauntlet, and I think the 49ers are just in a better spot here to get it done here. All right, the other stack that I'm going with, I'm going to go with a dome game. You got to always go with those dome games. 48-point total, Lions Saints. So we got Lions Saints, and I'm going to go 3-1 Lions. And the Lions here, we got Goff, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Laporta. I'm actually going to take Montgomery out of those stacks. I like Montgomery today, but I'm not going to stack with him because he just doesn't get that much in the pass game. And if this does turn into a game where maybe the Saints get out to a quick lead, they could go heavy Jahmyr Gibbs, which we've seen. So I like Montgomery. He's in my player pool. He's just maybe he's more of a one-off where you're going to play him outside of stacks. And then with the Saints injuries on the offensive side, luckily Olave is playing today. So we do have a great run back with Olave. I think Kamara's in play. If you want to go cheap tight end, you can go Juwan Johnson. Taysom's always in play here. But yeah, and then if you really, really want to get down and dirty with it, you go A.T. Perry. But yeah, I mean, if you're playing him, you're having like a stacked lineup, a lot of people, and you got a cheap Zach Moss, a cheap A.T. Perry, and then have a lot of studs in there in between. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Lions Saints here in the Dome in New Orleans. Think that can have a game with a lot of fireworks. And probably the most I'm gonna stack here with the heaviest stack of the week is probably the Dolphins game. Anybody against this Commanders defense is viable. I mean, I'd probably stack the Patriots against the Commanders. That's just how bad the Commanders defense is. But this Dolphins team, 49.5-point total. They're 8.5-point favorites. If you did not want to run back anybody with the Commanders, you don't have to. Luckily, this week for Occupied, one of the underperforming wide receivers is on the Washington Commanders, and his name is Terry McLaurin. So if you want to run it back with him, I'm all for it. I don't know how else you stack this game besides going Waddle and Tyreek, unless you throw in Mostert and you throw in Achane. And if you do one of those two, don't do both. If you do one of those two, you just really, really hope that they get some passing game work here. But if you're bringing it back with anybody, probably just Scary Terry, or you're taking a glimpse or a hope that Curtis Samuel can get something back from that Thanksgiving slate. But yeah, I'm probably just going to go with Scary Terry on the way back. We got Justin in the chat. What's up, man? He says punt at 3K Kirkwood. Yeah, that is a very, very true punt. He did run more snaps than Perry, but with Olave back, I'm fairly certain I'm just going to go with Olave or Kamara. And if you truly want to, Kirkwood and Perry are in play. Then allows you to get a little bit different with those Zach Moss heavy lock button lineups. So that's the slate there for DFS. If you got any other questions, make sure you join the Discord below. And you guys, it's an interesting slate. I think we haven't had one of these slates. I forced the one with Devin Singletary with the lock button, and that didn't work out for us that week. But I think this week is just a smash play. It's a no-brainer play to have Zach Moss in every one of your lineups. That game environment should be close. You should have ample amount of opportunities. Maybe score a couple touchdowns for him. All righty. All right, so let's get into our top spread play of the week. And we're going to go back to that Lions-Saints game. That Lions-Saints game with the get-right game here for the Lions. Lions -4, -112. I've seen it at 4.5 on FanDuel. And if you've this Lions team is absolutely elite when it comes to their offense. This Saints team the Saints defense has struggled recently. And the Lions have had back-to-back iffy games with their offense, especially, and it's more of just Jared Goff making the bad decisions. I don't think it's more of the offense. It just lays more on Jared Goff. He's had 10 days off after shit in the bed on Thanksgiving against the Packers, which ended up being a very, very great, game environment for DFS. So, that's why I'm kind of hinting at playing this stack here, but I think ultimately the Lions can get it done here at -4. Good number. I think early on, if you got 3.5, obviously is the better number, but I just think this goes to 4.5 or closer to 5 towards game time. Olave, I was trying to make sure I got this before the Olave news and thinking it maybe go down a little bit, but it has not whatsoever. So make sure you grab the Lions here at -4. 10 days off, get right game. Two shit games in a row. I think this is a good spot here for the Lions to get right. All right. Let me know if you guys have any other spread plays for your guys' card, what you guys are looking at. Would love to hear from you guys. And then we'll go with probably the ugliest game of the week. And you would think with this Chargers offense, you could probably take the over here, but I'm leaning the under. And this is just going to be Bailey Zappi. He might take more deep balls down the field. Demario Douglas is out. It's going to be Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster. A lot of Hunter Henry. Just an ugly all-around. It's going to be a ground-and-pound Stevenson game, especially the weather is not going to be cooperating with them. This Patriots team is just bad. And this Chargers offense has been horrific this year. I don't think they've scored more than 20 points. I think more than like 2 or 3 times. And I know the injuries with Williams and Quentin Johnston and Josh Palmer. It's just a never ending. And Austin Eckler is pretty much a shell of himself. He does not have the burst and speed, especially at the goal line. He can't get in any more touchdowns there. Keenan Allen's banged up. It's just an all-around ugly game environment here. This total has ticked down a little bit. I think it started at 40.5. Now it's down to 39.5. I see 39 over on DK. So yeah, make sure you guys get this under. And if this game does shoot out, I'd be very, very surprised. But this Chargers team is being favored 4.5. It was at 5.5. So there is a lot more love on the Patriots side coming in. And if the Patriots control the game, you know that they're not going to throw the ball deep, have explosive plays. It's going to be a ground and pound Stevenson game. I know Zeke's questionable. So if you do want to throw Stevenson into some of your DFS lineups, I'm all for that. So yeah, Chargers Patriots under 39.5, -120 over on FanDuel. All right, and as always, we give a 7-point teaser. Not always a 7-point, but a teaser here that we give out for our VIP card. And if you guys are interested in the VIP card in general, hit that link below, join the Discord. You get all access to all my plays. All right, we're gonna go Cardinals +13.5, Dolphins -2, and then the Titans +8. Probably the most ugly part of this 3-man is the Titans, and I struggled to put it in, but it just made the most sense when you're looking at the game environment there. And the Cardinals +13.5. I've seen a lot of love on the Cardinals +6.5, and the Steelers offense just it should start to get a little bit more fluid without Matt Canada there. You saw the 400-point game, but they still struggled to score in the red zone. I don't think that just flips a switch in a week. And I just don't think they have the ability to blow anybody out. So if it's going to be a close game, let's tease this Cardinals plus the 7 points up to 13.5. Dolphins, I think they can easily beat the Commanders, but we're going to make sure, tease it down and get a better number through some key numbers there. And then the Titans +8, we're going to just go through some more key numbers, low total game, home dog. Vrabel loves being a home dog for whatever reason. He just gets his guys going. And maybe they can still get Derrick Henry getting going, maybe use that momentum from last week. But Will Levis, if they keep that ball in his hands for very long, he's going to throw a pick. So I'm hoping that the Titans can control most of this game and get a couple big plays from Hopkins, mainly control the clock with Derrick Henry, and just don't get blown out. I don't think they're going to win the game, but don't just get blown out. And I think we got some key numbers here that we're getting with Vrabel at home. So that's +130. Got that over on DK. That's for 1.5 units. All right. And before we get going with our player props, we'll make sure if you guys have tuned in each and every week, you guys know what I use and what I utilize from Occupy Fantasy. It is a no-brainer that we go and use this OccuProp radar. It is the easiest tool. It's over on occupyfantasy.com. Go over to this betting tab, hit this. You can go to the deposit bonuses. Make sure you guys have always used those, except if you're going to ESPN Bet, because that book is trash. Yeah, please don't use that one. And then you got live odds here as well, and then the OccuProp radar, which is we are currently on. You can search for the player, and we're going to go with Austin Eckler's receiving yards. So I know I just bashed that game, but it's going to be ugly for a reason. And I think Austin Eckler through the air is going to be utilized here. But simply we just search for him, and then we're going to come down here and look at the total receiving yards, and you get to see every single book what the line available is. It's a super easy tool. It's an amazing tool. I use it every single day when I'm making a prop bet, just in case that I'm missing something. So you're not searching 5 or 6 different sports books. You have all 5 right here at your hands, and then you can just click bet now, sign in, boom, and you're good. All right, so we are going to go with Austin Eckler over 28.5 receiving yards. As you can see, it's over on FanDuel at -110. It's as high as 29.5, 30.5 over on PointsBet. And this is mainly, it's going to be an ugly game. And I just think that there's going to be a plethora of screens today to Eckler, who I think caught 5 passes last week for 32 yards against Baltimore. And it just feels like there's so much more left to be on the table. And with the Chargers being favorited, I would assume this is why this line is still pretty low. But they can't run the football to save their lives. So I think they're going to utilize a lot of screens, a lot of plays to get Eckler out in space instead of running up the middle. And I think they can get some good yardage here on the Patriots, who give up a decent amount of running backs to receiving yards to the running backs. But yeah, it's more of just I think a game script play here. The ability of the Chargers just to not run the football. This is going to be an extension of the run game, basically. Alrighty, we got another running back receiving yards prop that I'm going to go with, and we're going to go back to the OccuProp radar. And we're going to search for probably a darling for some of you guys on the fantasy land, Devin Singletary. And you guys have had him. Yeah, he's produced very, very well in recent weeks, especially now, even with Pierce back. But we're going to go with his receiving yards too, over 12.5. I think this line is considerably low. You got they're playing the Broncos, who give up the 8th most running back receiving yards. And I know that's kind of probably inflated from that Miami game, but you saw him, even with Pierce back, play 47 of the 58 snaps. He got 54 receiving yards last week. He's not any longer the change of pace running back. He is the bell cow running back, and I think he's going to be utilized heavily. You've seen CJ Stroud air it out. You can see a couple screens here to Singletary. I just think this number should be more, 17, 18.5, and we're getting 12.5. So maybe I get tricked again, like with DeAndre Swift. But this line just seems pretty low, in my opinion, here against this Broncos defense, who's been better as of late, but definitely can be exposed through the air, through the running back position. All righty. Let me know if you guys have any props. I want to hear from you guys. We'll be here for about another 5 minutes or so. And this is probably the chalkiest of I could ever think of a chalky prop. But I just don't understand how this doesn't hit once again. And I say once again because this has hit for 6 straight, and it's actually hit for 8 out of 10. And I'm actually going to pull that OccuProp radar one more time, and we're going to go searching for Sam Howell, and we're going to go with this pass attempts. It's over 38.5 pass attempts. It's minus 130, so it is a little bit juicy. But yet again, I've said it. He hit it 8 of 10 games, and 6 in a row. He's averaging 40.5 pass attempts a game. And in a game script where you're down 8.5, you're probably going to have to chuck the football. And so this is his recent games, last 6 games: 42, 52, 45, 44, 45, and 44. Mainly because they play from behind all damn game. So it makes the most sense. They struggle to run the football with Robinson. Robinson's got a lot more pass yards, reception yards this year, and obviously against this Dolphins team who is going to stifle you in the run game, they're going to make you one dimensional. And Sam Howell should definitely get to the 40 pass attempts. And I know it's a little bit juicy, but I think this is just a no-brainer play. It's kind of one of those where it's like, man, it makes too much sense. So I could see it not hitting, but I'm good with Sam Howell. Just don't overthink it. 38.5 pass attempts. No, it's a huge number, but this guy has been hitting it 8 out of his last 10 games, averaging the most pass attempts in the league with Eric Bieniemy's pass-heavy offense. Maybe he thinks he's still coaching Patrick Mahomes. Who knows? All righty. Let's get to our anytime touchdown pick of the week. A little pick to click here. We're going to go back to the dome environment because who does not love a good dome environment, right? And we're going to go with the Amon-Ra St. Brown plus 125 over on FanDuel. I'm actually going to pull this one up because it's the classic roller coaster odds that I like to look for. And we're going to go, let's go back to it real quick. We got to score a touchdown over on BetMGM, minus 105, plus 100 on Caesars, plus 115 on DK, plus 125 on FanDuel. The good old roller coaster ride here. And those are the odds that I like to go with. And then you can see plus 800 over for the first touchdown of the game for 0.2 units over on FanDuel. I took that as well. So Amon-Ra, Saints struggle against the medium range passes. If you could go that route, and I think Amon-Ra has a huge day, gets in the end zone. It's going to be one of those plays that's I would say right outside the 15 that he runs in for a couple yards. I think we sees that. If he gets tackled at the 1, someone's watching this from Vegas 100% because he hasn't got tackled at the 1 in a while. It's been one of those seasons where he's actually scored. So I'm going back to it. Amon-Ra, St. Brown plus 125 over on FanDuel. I'm taking those best odds there. All right, we're going to go a little bit more juicier on the parlay. Hit that. So we got some profit here. Last week, we're going to go St. Brown. So Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, and the George Pickens plus 21.44 over on FanDuel. Ayuk has scored in 3 straight. You got another success, a great matchup here against the Eagles team defense that struggles against wide receivers. And you could always go Debo. You could go Kittle. I think Ayuk scores in his 4th straight. He has been a go-to target for Brock Purdy. I think in this game environment, you're going to see him rely even more on Brandon Ayuk. And then you got Amon-Ra, I've already talked about, and then George Pickens. You saw the offensive coordinator try to incorporate Pickens a lot more last week. Same with not as much as Jaylen Warren, but I think that was more game script. And Najee was actually running the ball very, very well. If you wanted to sub Warren for this, you definitely can against the Cardinals. But Cardinals are missing 2 of their cornerbacks. And as always, Pickens is an underperforming wide receiver for Occupy Fantasy. Those tend to hit. I can see a big play here from George Pickens to cash this one for us. So St. Brown, Ayuk, and Pickens, anytime touchdown parlay. Just bet it small, 0.1 unit. Don't go crazy with it. But yeah, this is a lot of play for sure. All right, so let's recap. And if I'm recapping, you guys got any questions, make sure you guys throw those in the chat for me. And if you guys are on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I think we're really, really close to 100 subscribers. If we get there, that'd be a nice little giveaway I can do. So let's do Lions -4. We got Chargers, Patriots under 39.5. Should be an ugly game. You got the 7-point teaser, Cardinals plus 13.5, Dolphins -2, Titans +8. And that's for plus 130 at 1.5 units. So a little heavier play there. We got Austin Eckler over 28.5 receiving yards. Devin Singletary over 12.5 receiving yards. And the chalk, Sam Howell over 30.5 pass attempts. A little bit chalky, minus 130, but I'm still rolling with it. Then we got our pick to click, Amon-Ra St. Brown with the anytime touchdown and the first touchdown of the game. And we got our parlay, St. Brown, Ayuk, and Pickens. All righty. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back same time next week. Make sure you guys check out Occupy Fantasy. In the meantime, hit that referral link in the description. Tell them I sent you. You will be very, very happy you joined Occupy Fantasy, especially if you're very, very new to DFS. They make it incredibly simple to get going. All right. We'll get up on out here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. See you guys next week.